Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Is the stream on Discord still going? Perfect. Yep. Ooh, Earth Spirit. Or I have a friend who calls him Dirt Man, but Dirt Man, yeah. Same thing though. Okay. So, full disclosure, I do not play Earth Spirit, but I do know how to win games. So, there may be some small like Earth Spirit specific things that I can't help with, but we'll see what I come up with. Yeah, like there might be small things where maybe you should have used a totem but you didn't, or maybe you did use a totem and shouldn't, and I may not catch that. But um, yeah, exactly. And I think that inevitably as you play more Earth Spirit, you're going to figure that out for yourself anyway. So whereas the stuff I can teach applies truly to everything. So classic. Ooh. Well, uh-oh. Failure downloading file. I've ne- okay. I've never seen that error before. Oh, it let me download it, but it said failure at the end. Oh man. All right. All right. And I'm going to try to find the file on my hard drive and delete it and then see if I can re-download it. It's very bizarre. I swear, every lesson, some weird new problem happens that I've never seen before and never see again. It just, they find some way to mess up the lesson. Okay. Yeah. Steam apps. Okay. I had to look up where replays get saved, like the file path. Steam apps, common, check, Dota 2. Dota 2 beta. Wow. Still in beta. That's a lot of replays. Okay, how about I just delete them all, I guess. Alright. Let me restart Dota. Maybe that'll do it. I'm trying to think what we're going to do if I can't get this replay to load. Because... Coach, I'm just too good. This is the only one I got. Hey, that's a good problem to have, man. Uh, so you got... So was it one? So you still won. Wow, dude, that's the worst. Ah, okay. That sucks, dude. When you like you come to terms with, all right, fuck this team, I just want to lose, and then like 30 minutes later you barely win, because then you feel like a jerk, but you still get rewarded, and you know you don't deserve it. So it's like, bad feeling. Yeah, it happens. Okay, yeah, that'll do it too. So okay, 1 second. What happened? Are you pooping? Okay. He's just yelling at me behind me the whole time. All right, Nils, I'm so sorry. My wife disappeared again, so I'm like, what is happening? Like, what? He's in the yeah he's in the pen just looking at me like really mad. Like, why won't you pick me up? I'm right here. Okay, so no, it's fine. She's back. So okay, same start as always. So we want to see items purchased, courier moved, and hero walking right away. You got your items. Yeah, yeah, I'm in it. I'm sorry. Ooh, oh man, amateur. All right, hang on. Yeah, okay. This guy's very unprofessional. He was 2 minutes late. He accidentally stopped sharing his screen. I'm pretty sure he changed a diaper when I was doing my lesson too. Like, all right. Can you see? Okay, go ahead. Okay. I would call it a situational item. It's not a must-have. It's good. In games where it's good, there it's like the best by far, right? So I can see why you might think that's a must-have. But I'm looking at their lineup. Who do you think is going to be their carry in the safe lane against you? And yeah, because you get the guy you can't trust. Okay. I think this will be a great learning opportunity then, because I have great criteria to give you to learn. Should I leave my lane or should I stay? So I'm going to help you make that decision. But let's talk about the Orb of Venom first, because you brought that up. So what I'm thinking is, who am I going to be against in the lane? You said Slark. Yeah, it's almost definitely Slark. Could it could maybe be Monkey King, but probably not. Like, he's probably mid, Slark's probably carry. They could switch it, but let's say they do switch it. How about Orb of Venom versus Monkey King? St- Still not very good, right? Yeah, yeah, they will man up and they'll just hit you back, and yeah, good. Okay, you're exactly right. So that tells me this is not an Orb of Venom game, because it's almost definitely Slark. It could be Monkey. They both suck. So I don't want to get Orb of Venom this game. So there's sort of what you're thinking about. You're exactly right. It's good when they're running. You could get a Windlace, but the thing about Windlace is it's 250 gold, which is almost half of your starting gold. It's quite a lot, and it doesn't really make you stronger, right? Like it's what 15 ms. It's not much. Let's see. 20 ms. Okay, so 20 ms. You'll go to 310. Is that better than maybe a headdress for the lane? Is that better than a Bassi for the lane? I would say no. Okay. They're still good when roaming. They're definitely best in lane, of course, because you're getting maximum efficiency. But you're going to spend time in lane no matter what. While you're there, it would be nice for Nyx to have extra regen from, let's say, a headdress, because he has a lot of base regen as a hero. He also got a ring of regen, and that's going to help him sustain in the lane. But if you don't want to do that because you want to roam, okay, fine. You could also get, so you want to get things that are going to make sense later, right? I take it you're going to get an urn from this ring. Okay. Great item on Earth Spirit, so okay, totally normal. But if you're going to start with one of these, why not a Sobi Mask or the Circlet to help you trade better and to get more spells? Like, the armor does help you trade a little bit, sure, but we already talked about Slark or Monkey King, doesn't matter. You're not really interested in trading hits with them, right? It's not really how you want to play the lane in this case. So I think getting 2 points extra damage, a little bit more strength, or some mana regen for more spells is going to be a little bit better than 2 armor, and it's definitely all better than the Orb of Venom. Like, I think the armor probably does more for you than Orb of Venom in the man fight situation. And another thing you could get, you could maybe start with a stick, because there's a CM in this game. So, you know, that means aura for them. That means more spells cast. That means stick is a little bit better. Normally against Slark, you know, stick's not an obvious item to get. But with a CM, probably in the lane, I would think, bottom, it could be Ogre. Either one of them could be the 4 or the 5. Either way, they both spam spells and they get CM aura. So I think stick is good. It's also a good roaming item. Otherwise, I don't like Orb of Venom. It's good for roaming, but when it sucks in lane, I just think it's not a good option. You could get a Blightstone. I would not get it later. I don't think you should ever go back and get it later, because you can't build it into anything else, right? It's a sunk cost. Once you spend that gold, congratulations, here's your Orb of Venom. It will forever be only an Orb of Venom. So at the like games where it's good, you want it right away. In games where it's not good, there's no reason to go back for it. So, but if you want to get a different item that's going to help you get kills, you could get a Blightstone for the same amount of gold. Because I do think this 2 armor reduction is going to do more for you than this Orb of Venom, because these guys will man fight you. So lowering their armor by 2 is nice. You know, they're not running, so you don't care to slow them. And -2 armor is a lot more damage than 2 damage per second for 2 seconds, right? That's 4 damage before reduction. This is 2 armor. So, and then you can go into Medallion and the Solar Crest, which is great against Slark and Monkey King. So normally I would not get a Solar Crest on Earth Spirit, but because Orb of Venom is bad, and you want to roam, like all these things together lead me to think that Blightstone is probably the best item for you to start with. Otherwise, you can get a little bit extra regen, or you could get 2 branches to make into a wand later, but this isn't really a wand game either. So yeah, I think Blightstone is probably the best. Great question though. That was Yep. It's yeah. So since you got Orb of Venom, anyway, the other time it's good is if you can get the CM alone, like over here, and then you can chase her down with this orb very effectively. So since you bought it, that's going to be the way to make it effective. So we'll see if that's what you do. But there's lots of different, sometimes there are multiple correct answers. So based on your items, that tells you how you should play. So because you bought this, let's see if you can make it useful. Why are you going top instead of bottom? Just curious. Okay. I agree. Sure. So Nyx can get killed. His level 1 stun's not great, but he's probably okay. I agree you can get first blood, but we talked about how the Orb of Venom was really bad against Slark. Well, it's really good against Pudge. So I normally would not see the 4 coming top, but this game, right? Yeah, normally you don't see that. I'd say the 5 bottom is more common than the 4 top, but in this case, I think it's acceptable. And obviously, you're thinking about it every game. So if you're thinking about it and you're making the right thoughts, I don't even care if you get the wrong solution. You're thinking about the right stuff. So it's good to see. Yeah, and you remember I talked about sometimes the mid comes here. Well, that's exactly what happened. So the mid came and they got the kill. So that's, you got to, if you make this decision, we talked about, it makes sense. You still have that inherent risk where if their mid comes, you can't do anything. So how about this? Imagine this same play. You're already here. Why not come this way? Up this hill. Yes, because then you would have scouted him. So you would have known he's there. And you also are in great position to boulder into these guys if you want to fight. So I think instead of going here, which is where they're always looking anyway, and you're not supposed to be here, right? So you have the surprise factor. Well, it's really surprising if you come from here. If you come from vision and they see you, okay, they see you, so they can make the decision if they still want to fight. In this case, they did, because they had Monkey there too, but you didn't know that. So, and I will tell you, if I'm this Grimstroke, I'm actually doing exactly what I told you to do. This is exactly what I do. Because typically you guys lose this fight. They may or may not bring their mid. So I think it's very important to get up here and scout that out. And if you go too soon, they'll come kill you. So that doesn't mean run here right away. Though it's about, I would be standing here on this ramp, and then right about now, at about 15 seconds, 15 to 20, that's when you make this move. You get here with about 7 seconds left, which is just enough time to make the decision, and enough time that if they were camping here, they've now moved down here to contest. So it works out about perfect where you won't feed, but you can get the information, and then once you have that information, you have like 1 second to decide what to do. But that should be enough time. So, wow, so much to talk about before the game even starts. So I don't think we covered it. Who do you think wins late game? So I think you definitely have. So yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I will say that I do think this game eventually Slark gets so strong that he alone is more pickoff potential than you guys have. Like, even though you have Ember, even though you have Earth Spirit, even though you have Nyx, Slark gets to a point in this game where I do not know how you guys kill the Slark anymore. But he can kill any one of you. Yeah, so to me, he seems to be the strongest hero in this game. He will also have a Monkey King who's a great late gamer too. He gets Bloodlust, and he gets a BKB disable from his Pudge. So I think they have all the tools to win late game. Does that mean you lose for sure late game? No. but I do think that they are favored late game. So I would not be looking to take this game too late. Um, you can still win, but I just think it's harder. Um, so what do you think about walking back to the lane here? Okay. Um, dude, I'm very impressed. People, so I'm 5.1k right now. A few weeks ago I was 5.3k. A few months ago I was 5.4k. So even when I was a bit higher at that 5.4 mark, most people were not doing this, and I think you are correct to do that in this particular lane. So again, I'm very impressed with your decision making in lane. I think you are correct to do this. I do not like that you blocked this camp. Generally speaking, I never block this camp with a ward. I never do it. And right, so yeah, so I'm sure we agree why we hate it. It's because it's always going to get dewarded. Exactly. So I hate that ward. Um, what I like is when you cut this wave like you are, pull the creeps here and block it with the creeps. Yeah, save this ward. I would put this ward either over here to scout couriers coming, because you're going to spend your time here pulling the wave. Again, love that decision. Fully agree. So a ward here is going to help you see their couriers coming. And that's another thing you can do while you're over here pulling. You can just deny their couriers, take every other creep wave like this, and that's going to help your Nyx immensely. So great decision. I just don't like where the ward went. Otherwise, you're also running this left. I would just take this straight up and out. If CM... Okay. Yes, it's still good. So, what I do is I would start bringing it here, and I would block this camp. And then you can see, is CM coming or not? If she is coming, depending upon how afraid you are, you can go left and go the long way up here. But I would not do that unless you have to. Against CM, I think you can just tango. You've got a stick. Well, no, that's her. Do you have a stick? You don't. No, you don't. Okay, but you have 4 armor. What's her damage? Like 40? It's just 47 damage. You have 4 armor and tangos. Yeah, just walk up. Like, who cares? Let her hit you a little bit. You can take it up here. And then you can either... I would probably bring it up this way. There's a little sliver of ground where you kind of hug the tree line coming down this ramp, and you can keep the creeps here. You can also like bring it here and just tank the wave and let the new wave meet on your tower. But that's going to happen anyway because you're screwing up their equilibrium. So bringing it here is redundant. You can see it's already happening. I guess the time where you would stack the waves. So it's a great question, and I'm not 100% confident in my answer simply because I always drag it here and it works great. I think where you want to stack the waves would be if you have a hero that can, first off, can you kill those creeps later? Let's say you stack 2 waves, but you can't clear waves and they just do like a bunch of tower damage and they dive with all their creeps. Like that could be very bad. So I would say step 1, can you even kill those creeps when there's 2 full waves? Maybe you can't. You and Nyx, I don't think you're killing that very well, so that doesn't seem very good. And they would also dive you. So I just don't think you do. I think if you're like Bristleback or Centaur, even Mars, that's probably when you would do that. Or Darkseer would be awesome. Like, that would be great. But with you guys, it doesn't make much sense to me to do it. The other problem is when you stack 2 waves, that takes a lot of time. And when you steal this creep wave, this wave alone will give you level 2. If you don't split XP with Nyx, if you take it all the way here by yourself, you get level 2. And that helps him out. It denies the full creep wave because your creeps meet and you kill all creeps, right? So it denies a full wave to these guys. Your Nyx doesn't get the wave, but they got it denied between 2 people. He got it denied between 1. So effectively, he got twice as much XP than them. Does that make sense? You get full XP, so you're level 2. His lane is set because now he's good on levels, and as long as he doesn't screw up the lane, it's going to be in a better position than right here where he can't do anything. So that would be when you're okay to leave the lane. And I think stacking the waves would be bad because we talked about you can't kill them, and that's a bigger time investment. Yeah, and you can... Yeah, so then you TP, and now your TP's down, so if they dive somewhere else, you can't be there, which you're an awesome counter initiator. So, alright, so you come back here. Here's all the creep waves. And here it gets kind of awkward, because now you're waiting for the creeps to push. You don't really have anything to do, but you're also level 1, so you need this XP. You know, so I feel like this is way worse because you're just sort of waiting now. You know, like you would already be level 2, and you could be mid right now with 2 killing this guy potentially. You could also just do this, and then go do it again. You know, you could just repeat that process if you have nothing else to do. I think the big key is that you do not want CM to get a pull off here. You don't want this pull stacked, which you blocked it with a ward, so that's not going to happen. But you really don't want her pulling this either. So if you're pulling a creep wave and denying it, and she's pulling and denying it, then it kind of evens out, which is still a win for you because we correctly identified this lane is very hard for you guys. So if you guys are trading pulls, that's fine. You know, that's good for you. So cool. And if she's not pulling, or you're able to block this somehow, then, you know, you're just pulling ahead. But when you stack this wave, it looks to me like it's just a huge time investment that would have been better spent just pulling the one wave. And you could actually die here. Okay, yep. Everybody knew you could die, so it worked out. Yeah, and so here's another problem with the way you did this. So, all right, you're right. You got to get level 2. So you have to be here. When your offlaner is farming on his tower, this is like the safest place for him to be, right? Yes, this is exactly when he doesn't need you here. So the other thing is you have to be here because you need this XP. You got to get it. So this CM could just pull right now. It's totally free. Are you going to go stop her? No, you're fucked if you leave to stop her. Like, then you're still level 1, you know? So she just didn't pull. Like, she could pull right here, and now your lane's fucked. Because now it's going to reset the equilibrium here. They're going to deny this whole creep wave, which you guys cannot come contest. You know, you can't fight them, so you can't contest it. And then your lane is, like, over. So this could have been a disaster, but you got away with it because she's not playing as well as she should be. So cool. So this was very good. I'm learning too. So I didn't have an answer for you, but we figured out why you shouldn't stack the wave. Like, you could tell I kind of knew it was bad, but I had to, like, think about it and figure it out. Well, now we see exactly why that was bad. Because if she would have pulled there, you lose this lane, and I don't know that you can ever fix it. Okay, so you go mid. I'm cool with you going mid because you already did the pull. This lane is not ideal, but this is playable, right? Like, he can play this. And they're pushing, so okay, fine. So he's good. So we talked about when is it okay to leave the lane? Well, he needs to be okay. And you set him up before you left. And I saw last game you did the same thing for your Jug. You got him in a good spot. You gave him a ward, then you left. So you seem to have that down, which is very important. If you're going to leave the lane, then you have to make sure that lane doesn't just lose because you left. You know? So, good. It doesn't look like you guys got this kill, but alright. It's not a great looking gank, though, because Ember can't really just man fight Monkey King, and you guys can't nuke Monkey King down either, so eventually you have to come in to attack him, and it's hard to see a way that works out well for you, especially if someone TPs and helps out the Monkey King. Then one of you is going to die. So I don't know that you really have a good gank opportunity here. I mean, the only way this works is if you roll onto him, stun him, kick him into tower, and then he chains him on tower. That's the only way he dies. Okay. And that's normally that is correct. But what's going to happen, unless you get this guy to like 200 HP, like that might work, but I don't think you'll get him that low. And what's going to happen is Ember still can't come up to pressure him because he'll just hit him back. And once he gets Jingu, he gets Boundless Strike right here. And then he lifesteals from the entire creep wave. Yeah. Now, if your mid is super good, or if you want to be... Well, he can dodge it, but if you fortify the wave, the Boundless Strike does no damage, and he doesn't get healed. So, yeah, so... It's, do you see how complicated this is getting? So if you roll onto him, you kick him into tower. This guy did not level chains, so you can't chain him on tower. You hit him, and then Ember Sleight of Fist dodges the Boundless Strike, and you fortify the creeps to cuck his lifesteal, and then you kill him. You think that's going to happen? It might. In a 7K game, bro, they might make that happen. But that is, you're better off just kill this courier. Yeah, I mean, I think if, yeah, yeah, it worked, and that's the good news, is that you are making a lot of mistakes, and so is everybody else. Yes, exactly. So if you can just make smaller mistakes and a little bit less frequently, you're going to be just fine. So Nyx is still able to play his lane. So this is a very unique game, and this is not an easy game to play, because I think you did good here. Yes, I 100% agree. The reason this game is going well is because CM has fucked up a lot. And that's all right. You know, sometimes you get the freebies. But yeah, this is a tough game, and I just don't think there's a lot of opportunities mid. I think you're better off just keep pulling here and keep trying to deny pulls to them, and just accept the fact that your lane's not as good as theirs. But if you guys hit 6 before Slark, you can kill him. You know, so... Great question. So I do think you are having an inherent risk in deciding to play a roaming style in this meta. You can absolutely make it work. I think there's a couple keys. Number one, you always have to at least secure your lane before you start roaming. You did that. Check. Good. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, and really maybe this is the real step one, did your team pick heroes that you can even gank for? Like, what if this guy is playing Medusa mid? Yeah, then you're not doing shit. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. No, it's your lesson, man. No. You. There you go. If you need to go back, you go back. Right now, you still don't need to be here. He's on his tower. He has a level advantage. He doesn't need you, man. He's fine. Like, yeah, his farm isn't the greatest, but he's actually farming pretty well. 13 CS is just fine for offlaner right now. But he's getting full XP. So that's much more important for Nyx to be level 6 quick than to have 2 Wraith Bands quick. You know, like... Yes, that was a big change. It's not necessarily that roaming is better, it's that sitting in lane and denying everything is less good. So therefore roaming is less bad in comparison, therefore a little bit better. Exactly. So it's like an indirect buff, I guess is what you would say. Yeah, but you could probably go top, and what's top? Oh, dude, there's kills top. Here's where you're killing people. Yeah, so I guess something you could, let's rewind to the start of the game. You could maybe ask your Ember, hey, are you willing to go chains? Because if you do, I can roll mid, kick this guy into tower, and you can stun him on tower. Because that's not, you can set that up without him doing anything other than just walking backwards when you do it. You know, so if you know that can happen and he's willing to do it, then I think you have a lot better kill potential here. If he's not willing to do it, you still got to kill, but okay, so you can, let's say, go mid, make this guy use a salve, possibly kill his courier. You can like back this way so he doesn't see if you're going top or bottom. As you're backing, you look bottom. This guy's fine, and then you can walk top. Yeah, so I think that is the proper decision making. So to answer your question, is roaming viable? Yeah, it is. But if you're choosing not to play the meta, you still have to deal with the fact that the meta is the meta because it's good and it's reliably good, right? So you have to address that. How do you address it? You give this guy a laneable lane, which you've done. You might even, that was pretty good. Yeah, and you didn't have to come back down, but you did. You got the bounties, so okay, that's fine. Nyx can get these bounties without you, and you could be up here contesting. So I think you missed an opportunity to TP top just based on the timing. TP top for the bounties, that's a good time to go, right? You're guaranteed to get a fight. There's an objective. So exactly. So yep. So okay, you go home to heal, so you've just healed and you're looking to where do I go? His guy is still playing on tower. So this is still fine. You should know bounties are coming up. You could have walked and rolled to top. That's a long cooldown, so I don't think you're get. I think you probably have to TP. But yes, I would be looking to go top. Another thing to consider: had you not gone the Orb of Venom, but instead gotten a little bit more regen, you could have walked top without ever going back to base, and you would have been here a minute ago killing these guys. Well, 30. You would have been here at 4 minutes. So that's another thought, and I think that's just recognizing that this is not a very good Orb of Venom game. So these are all options available to you. But yeah, I do think that going here, because let's watch this again. Okay, he's playing on tower. He's doing some harass. So he's fine. He's got a lot of regen, right? Like 7.6 regen without even tangling 6 tango. He's fine. Like, this is no problem for him. You don't have so much regen, so that meant more to you. But yeah, he didn't need you there. You know? These guys don't really need you either. You see they got a kill. They don't necessarily need you. However, they can do a lot with you here. Mid, we talked about a lot. It's kind of a wash. It's not a great place to be based on the hero matchup. So, yeah, I think... Because now, look, we're 5 minutes into this game. You're not quite level 3. But once 10 minutes gets here, the lane phase is a little bit over. And the lane is when Earth Spirit seems to be the best, because that's when you've got the most roam potential. So your window of opportunity in this game is closing. And now you're back mid. And again, this is a function of not having the regen to walk top and then not TPing top. Because coming from bottom, how do you get top? You have to go through mid. So of course you're going to stop mid. But it's a trick, right? Like, this is so hard to do anything mid lane. So this is all coming back here, and you're just getting stuck mid because it's in the way of going to top. You know, so you either got to like go all the way behind and just go It's nighttime, so you could actually cut through here. This is a much more aggressive move, but you can do that. But they have the yeah, exactly. Great place for a ward. You can even ward this triangle because when you go top and start killing the top, where do they go instead of top? They go right here. So if you're warding here on the way to kill them, you're covering their next option. You're going to go kill them again. And then I guess his game's over at that point. Like, you kill him in lane, he comes back to triangle, you kill him in triangle. Because Ursa can just push. You and Grimstroke come to the side, and then Ursa joins you as the creep lane pushes, and you intercept him here. Or if he doesn't come to tower, you kill him in here with your vision. Doesn't really matter. He's going to die one way or he's going to lose his tower. You know, if he's a super smart, disciplined player and just refuses to give you that kill, then okay, he can lose his tower. So how do they save the tower? CM has to come, and Ogre has to come. So then they're going to tri-lane you. So then do you win the tri-lane? I'm going to say yeah, you do. Because your carry can farm forever, Ursa, and their carry can't because Ursa will just hit their carry. Right? He wins against the Pudge. So they can't tri-lane you. If they really want to, then you could go back bottom and 2-on-1 the Slark, who is level 4, to this level 5 Nyx. And, you know, you just TP bottom in response to them TPing top. You've got all the options because you are playing from a strong position and dictating the pace of this game because you're deciding to play where you are strong, which in this case would be top. So if they want to bring an overreaction of resources to deal with this, then you can either choose to continue to keep doing this, which I think is still good, or you could choose to TP bottom with all their TPs cooldown and deal with their Slark down here. It's up to you, but they play on your terms, and that's all a function of you playing where you're strong, and they're just sort of playing their lanes because that's what you're supposed to do. You go to your lane, right? So I think that's like what takes you to that next level of MMR and like the next caliber of players is having those thoughts of, I don't just have to be in this lane. I don't just have to roam. You know, I have these options, and I want to play where I'm strong. So where are we strong? It's this Ursa lane against Pudge. You're not very strong here, but it's very playable because you've kept the lane up. So, okay, good. Playable in a lane that's hard is great. You know, that means that's a good thing. Mid is also hard, but it's playable because it's mid lane if you just stay out of the way and don't bring help. You know, Ogre here is bad because now they win the lane harder. So this is where you're strong. And last game, your Jug was really strong and didn't need anything to win. So you came top to be strong there, and then your Pudge left, which was stupid, and that kind of collapsed your, laning phase. But it's the same concept, but reverse. Typically, your safe lane is not where you want to have your 3 heroes. This is not common. But because you have such a strong matchup here, you can really exploit that fact. And your other options, I think, are not that good. Like, even still, you don't have to bring in more people here if you're already winning a lot. But because your other options aren't that great, I think that's the best option. So then... Yep. I mean, that's, you get them alone. Or here's a thought. What if you bring their supports top by tri-laning, and then Ursa goes bottom to lane 1-on-1 against the Slark, who's level 4. Ursa's level 5. He can lane this Slark 1-on-1 all day. He can do that. So, and then Nyx can go top. That's another option, but the problem with that is if Ursa TPs first, Slark just TPs in response. Right? So, or maybe Slark just stays in the losing lane. I don't know, but you don't want to leave it up to him. So, I think, honestly, the best option is you just tri-lane with your Ursa. Nyx is getting XP for free. He's happy. That's all he needs. So, all in all, your lane is good. It's just... that is an option to you. Whether or not it's better is debatable. I think you leave that decision up to your offlaner and your carry, because Ursa loves the lane against a Pudge. He'll do that any day. Against Slark, it's a little bit riskier because Slark's passive is good too. Fury Swipes is a little bit stronger, but with some disable, like let's say this CM gets Frostbite to stop him from attacking rather than just a little bit of a slow, then I think with that root preventing him attacking and Slark getting all his attacks off, that Slark actually would win the trades. But you could still win the lane, but ultimately you win this lane for sure, guaranteed. And I think your Ursa probably wants to be in that position where he's the strongest guy on the map the earliest. So it's an idea, and I would say bring it up, but leave it up to your cores. Let them play where they're more comfortable. This guy got hooked. Kind of sucks, but Pudge TP'd. Ursa's pushing. That's correct. You're still mid, and that's kind of the problem again being mid. You don't really have much to do, but you bring more attention mid, so then they came to gank your guy because you're already here and they see you here. So you being in a bad spot put your Ember in an extra bad spot because you just brought more heroes there. Whereas if you're top, you bring them top, which means Ember can just have his one-on-one with Monkey, which is playable. It's not great, but he can do it. Nyx gets his lane, which is still going good, and you guys just stomp this lane harder. So even if you're killing nobody by being up here, you force them to be there or lose their tower. We talked about you have this option. Who's to say you don't just pull this big camp every minute and just deny every other creep wave to them? You farm the big camp. They get nothing here. Ursa gets free farm still. Then now, sure, you didn't kill anything because you didn't roam, but now you are level 4 instead of level 3. And your Ember probably isn't dead. So that's also an option. So roaming is definitely more difficult than playing in lane, as you can probably see. You do get more risk, but you've got much more complicated decisions to make. Do I roam and go for this kill? Do I just stay here so they have to be here? Do I go pull? Because if you pull, then what's Grimstroke do? Because normally he's pulling, so he's got to go somewhere. So maybe you go here to pull, Grimstroke takes mid because mid is hard, and Ember decides to jungle. I don't know. It's kind of up to you guys as a team to figure out how you want to spread this farm. Because there's different ways to do it. You just want to make sure you're efficient with everybody's time. So back to bottom. Now they're bottom. Again, this lane's kind of tough. Nyx is almost 6. I think the lane... you have a window to kill this guy. When he's 6 and Sark is 5, you could potentially kill him. But you're low on HP, and this guy's low on mana. So, ooh. Dude, you got balls. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone for that personally. No, I didn't. Another thing to look at is, did you ever look at his skill build? He's maxing mana burn. Okay, because I saw that earlier and I didn't mention it, but I wish I would have, because I would have looked really smart. Because if he maxed Impale, you get that kill. But maxing mana burn, it makes no sense to me. It's a Slark. If it's like an OD or something, okay, maybe that's good. But yeah, his skill build made that gank a bad play. I also don't like it because you're going to die no matter what. You're definitely dying there because of how you chose to go. And I don't think that's the right decision when the CM is level 5. You're the farming support. You're level 3.5. It's 8 minutes now. So I don't think dying for this kill is worth it. Even if it worked out better, just because you need XP and you can't get XP while you're dead. And if you think about it, what if you're ahead by a level? Is it worth dying? The answer is probably still no, because you're giving them extra XP when you die. So then, okay, now you TP top. They brought 3 heroes. This guy's got a DD. Yeah, and if we think about how we got to this point, let's go back, let's say like a minute or two. Probably was not the most efficient way to do it, but that's what I did. So let's look at it again. So what happened on the grand scheme? You spent a lot of time mid, which brought people mid. That got this Pudge a kill, which got him XP closer to level 6. This bounty rune is still there because We didn't ward here and we didn't go top already. Have we done that, this bounty is ours, this bounty is ours. This guy going mid's way more obvious because you have a ward here and you know he's not here and he's not here. So where is he? He's mid, right? So I bet this guy doesn't die if you're there. You get these bounties. This guy doesn't get that XP from killing him. He comes back to lane. The lane's pushed. You're not here to kill him, so he gets more XP. There he has to back off again. He got his level 6. They got another kill mid because now this monkey is snowballing. So he gets another kill mid. What is he able to do once he kills mid that he couldn't usually do? Yeah. Yeah, he can leave mid. So what happens? Oh, there's a DD here. Oh, Pudge is level 6. Ursa's an important kill. All right, let's just go kill this guy. And then UTP to try to help, and you're dead too. So now you're way behind. Would you agree? So almost like 2.7, no, 2.5 net worth. XP, about 1250. You guys are definitely behind now, and it's going to get worse because you just got killed. So those graphs are going to go up further. Who's your answer for Monkey King? It's got to be Ursa, right? Well, now he's down a level to this guy. Who's your answer for Slark? Kind of you, I would say. You, Grimstroke, Nyx, Ember even to a degree, all kind of do stuff to Slark, but none of you like straight up counter him. But the Monkey King, I think, gets dealt with by your Ursa being stronger than him. So I think now you're in a position where you have no answer for Monkey King other than overwhelming numbers, which is inefficient and risky. And Slark was going to have a good game no matter what, just because he's against Nyx. But even there, like he lost to Nyx because of the pull you made at the start of the game. So that's bottom lane is fine. Mid's tough. Mid was always going to lose, but I think mid lost worse because you kept trying to gank that lane. You know, it's an uphill battle. So high risk, low reward would be what you think of it. So I'm going to not answer your question directly because I'm going to give you a different question to think about. When do you want to go mid? When's it good for you? If you say fuck my team, I want to have a good game. I want to make sure what I do is good. When would you want to go mid? Or an even simpler way to think about it, when I'm going to get a kill. Right? When you know I'm likely to get a kill if I go mid. So rather than thinking about when is it good to go mid, why not just think, what happens if I go mid? I want to go mid just because I want to roam. I want to kill their mid. So what is this even an easy kill? Like what happens if I go here? And I think if you think about it like that, you're going to see Monkey King is good against Ember. And frankly, is good against Earth Spirit too. This is a hard gank. And I think if you just think about it that way, you're going to rule out the bad choice and you're going to be left with nothing but better choices. You know, and I think you're playing at a level where if you just make sure you don't have any big blunders, because this game I'm going to say it's a big blunder. Like you're kind of fucked right now and you're not even 10 minutes in. So I think if you just avoid making these big mistakes like this, you're going to be in a position to win at literally every single game. But I think the way this game is going, it's happening fast where I'm not sure how you win because we already talked about late game is winnable but hard. You know, it's better to play from ahead and end this game at like 30, 40 minutes. But that's definitely not going to happen now. So what's plan B? Let Ursa AFK farm? That's not good. That's not how Ursa wants to play. Nyx definitely isn't going to do that. Ember, whatever, he can, but he kind of wants to be a little bit more active too. So I just think that the way this game has gone with your roaming targets, where you chose to go. I just think this game is extremely hard now, and I almost think like what happens after here kind of doesn't matter because it's all a result of what happened in this early game. So let's take a moment though. We're at 9:30. So what happens next? It's the outposts and the shrine, or not shrines, bounties. Shrines are gone. So, okay. We talked about you typically want to go to your off lane. So think about it this game. You want to go to your safe lane? Fuck no. Not right now. There's 3 guys here. Monkey King's really strong right now. He's very strong. He's a problem for you guys. So you don't want to be anywhere near this. Pudge has ult. Really don't want to be there. So you would go here, which, what do we know? Our hero. He's there. Okay, good. So now what happens when you're behind like this? They're pinging you. What happens if they decide to come fight you here? Can you fight them or no? Yeah, so CM will be there for sure. Their mid laner is currently here killing your carry, so I guess he won't be there. But if the Monkey King comes, you definitely aren't fighting. Yeah, you're just going to walk away. So if you see him TP, depending upon what time he goes, then you can immediately TP here and trade this outpost. But if you don't go for this outpost, you're definitely not getting top no matter what. Right? So this is another reason why you want to go to this outpost, because in this case, normally this is where you're strong. Nyx has his ultimate, so you do have some strength here. But their off lane is typically where they're strong. In this game, that's definitely applying based on what's happened. So if you go here, you die for sure. You go here, even though you're behind, you can get this outpost. And if they come to stop you from getting it, you have the chance to still get one up here. But it all starts with coming to this outpost. If you're way ahead, you get it for free, and you can come take the other one too. If you're way behind, there's no possible way to get this one, but at least you can still get this one. And you force them to come stop you. And if they do, you have the opening to come get here. But if they don't come stop you, if they just fail to do the right play, then you win. Right? But it all starts from choosing to go to this particular outpost. Whether you're ahead or behind, do you see how it's still making sense that your off lane is where you need to be? Yep. So it's funny how that works out. And if it's an even game, then you both trade outposts and no one cares. Right? But if it's an even game and they try to take you here, you fight them and kill them, and then your carry takes this alone, and suddenly they're losing the game. So no matter how you look at it, your starting point should always be this outpost, unless it's a weird fringe situation where you're on a fringe case and it doesn't make sense. But that's the rule. That's why it's the rule. So it's really cool how these games made it really obvious that's what you should do. And look, I think you're just going to get this outpost. So even though you can't team fight them, because of the move you made, you still get something. So that's key. What do you think is about to happen here? Do you think this is a good place to fight or bad? Okay, so Ursa does do good against Monkey, but when he's ahead. When they're even, I think it just depends on the other heroes involved. They're going to swing that fight either way. But with Monkey King ahead by a level, I actually do not think your Ursa beats him currently. The other thing is that we just talked about where are you strongest. Typically, your offlaner is the strongest hero right now. Your mid might be stronger, but your mid usually doesn't want to leave mid. Lo and behold, their mid is mid. Your mid is also mid, farming over here, but also staying here. So the mid laners agree. They don't want to leave their lane because it's so short. If they leave, their tower dies really quick. If this tower dies, you're fucked. Like, this opens up your entire jungle. And your triangle, actually. So this tower is incredibly important. So mid laners don't want to leave. Okay, good. We talked about that. Your off laner is typically very strong right now, and they're going to be playing in your jungle. They're also going to have wards here, probably, because they already won this fight for this outpost. You came down here, right? So your ward is here. Mirror the map. Where's their wards? Probably in here somewhere, right? So if you go to fight here, you're fighting where they have vision and where they have high ground and where they have their strength. And their mid laner can just walk up and join this fight. Especially since he's winning his lane, he can walk right in front of your tower and not care. Your Ember probably could not do that against Monkey King. So what you got to do here, like what I'm getting at is the only time that you can actually take this back at like the 10-minute mark, this happens once the first outpost happens, right? That's when this rule comes into effect. The only time you get your jungle back is if you are way stronger than them or you make a very good smoke play. Like if you make a smoke play and come from behind and start by killing their support who's supposed to be in the back. That might be how you win this fight. Otherwise, especially when you're behind in a game like this fight is about the most difficult possible fight for you to take in this entire game. Like if you think about, based on where their wards are, where their heroes are, the fact that this is high ground, this is about the hardest place to go. So when you're behind, like, also you're level 4, so you're not going to have your ult. This guy's level 4, he's not going to have his ult. You don't have your support ults yet, so you're missing a power spike too. And like Ember said, look, my lane was hard. I kind of don't want to fight. I want to farm and catch up a little bit, right? And he lets you know, I don't want to be there. So rather than fighting, because I can tell you this, you're going to lose this fight. I guarantee you. What's better is to just accept that they're strong and that they get your jungle and trade them their jungle for it instead. And your ward is perfect. This ward is a great ward, and I love that you did not put it here. I love that you didn't do that, because it's going to die there for sure. Yeah, and they have a Slark, by the way, so it's especially important that you guys play here, because if you ever leave this area against a Slark, he's going to, yeah, he knows where all your wards are, and you're going to lose them. The best move is to go bottom for this outpost with you, both supports and the offlaner at 10 minutes should be here every single game, no matter what. If you start from there, you're going to make better decisions just because you guys are generally where you're supposed to be. So the opportunities you see from here are going to make sense. Do you remember when you were playing here, which was not a good place to be, and you even said, like, I wanted to be top, but you like can't go top because mid's in the way, right? So even though you kind of understood where you wanted to be, because of where you were, getting top didn't make much sense on how to do it, because you don't, like, just TPing randomly, you understand because you're smart and you're pretty good. It's not good to just TP for no reason. Even if you TP and just get a kill, you almost still don't want to do that, because like now you can't TP anywhere. So like what happens after that? You know, you don't know. Like what if they smoke gank your mid and you can't TP, so your mid gets killed? You know what I mean? Like you just don't want to do it, and so you didn't. But by standing where you're not supposed to be, your options were shitty, and you just didn't really. You looked lost. You know, you could tell. I think it was clear that you could see your options sucked, and you just spent like 3 minutes here. Like, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? So as a habit, 10-minute mark, both supports and your offlaner should be here. Your offlaner doesn't have to literally come to this outpost unless it makes sense for him to be there. Typically, you're pushing this lane at like 940. If the lane's on tower, if they go outpost, they lose the XP and the farm. So they're probably not going to do it. You also have vision from the creeps pushing on them, right? So you want to push in preparation for this outpost. Get your 3 key players in this area. The 2 supports should be here. Your offlaner can, you know, he can push, and then he decides where to go based on what makes sense and what these guys do. And once you do that, you've already got the right ward up. I think it's clear from there you guys play down here and you just give this area up. But if you look even now, that 10 minutes hasn't happened yet. So these bounties are still going to spawn. Where are you guys? You're like kind of heading towards mid. Right. And you kind of understand their top, and you said, I don't want them to come mid, because they would come mid from top. That makes perfect sense. And remember what I talked about? You take this tower when you're ahead, and what do? You roll mid, you kill their mid, you take that mid tower, you basically win the game at that point. So they are where you were last game, where I talked about how you're so strong from this position and your Pudge TP'd away and fucked it all up. Well, their Pudge, he TP'd, he successfully killed your mid, but then he went back to his lane where he should have been and they took your tower. So think about the difference that made. They got this tower, but you didn't. So now they have this option to come mid. You instinctually understand that, and I think the pressure from being afraid of them doing that is what's making you feel like you should go do it. Would you agree that the fear of this is, I mean, you said it yourself. You were afraid of it, so you came, right? Isn't it funny, by being afraid of it, you made it happen? You gave him the fight. You came right to him. Now, what's amazing to me, look at me having to eat my shoe. You won this fight. So remember, yep. So, okay. So now I'm arguing uphill, but let's still think about it. They should have wards here. You're going up into high ground. This was not a good fight. It worked for you. It worked out. And what did you do? You had to bring 4 heroes. I don't think Ember actually ended up doing anything, which he should have been there. Again, I don't like this play call. We talked about why I don't like it. But if you're going to do it, you got to bring overwhelming numbers. So literally 5 heroes, I think, should have been there. You brought 4. And why did this work? Who's not here? CM. Yep. Slark used his TP for something, but I don't know why he TP'd. He should have had a TP option to this outpost that they control. So he, if he wanted to, could have TP'd there. CM should have already been there, but she could have TP'd too. So they are supposed to have wards. They see you coming. Let's say the same fight happens where they back up and fight you here instead of here, and then they have the heroes that they're supposed to have. Then even if you bring that Ember, you're playing from behind, you lose the 5-on-5 fight. So yeah, so I'm glad that you seem to, I think you get it, and that's good, because the fight you did, that was a very bad fight, and it was very risky, but it worked because they fucked up really badly. They just threw their lead. If you are playing from ahead and you are doing what I'm telling you to do, where you guys are here, you take this outpost, you have this ward, exactly like you, literally you already did the same thing. So let's imagine instead of you coming up here, it's them from behind coming into you here, which would be the exact reverse of what happened. How do you think that fight goes for them with your ward here and you guys are playing here? You stomp them, right? The game's definitely over then. You team wipe all of them, and then, oh, look, here's your mid tower. So then they kill mid while you're dead, and your game's over. Like, you're just done. Like, the only way you win a game like that is they feed you on high ground. It's no longer up to you to win that game. It's up to them to lose. Does that make sense? And all of this will happen or will not happen just based on where you are at physically. Even if you don't know the play you're supposed to make, just by playing in a good position, the opportunities are going to happen, and it's just going to make sense, and you'll just take it because it happens to be there. So you'll look a lot smarter than you might actually be just because you're in a good position playing from strength, so good things happen. Good opportunities show up. You might miss some, but you might take some others. So they had a huge opportunity here. They could have wiped you and ended the game, but CM's not there, and Slark has no TP. And they didn't have a ward. It looks like they really don't have a ward here. So, okay, who's supposed to ward there? It's CM, right? She's the one. Now, the 4 Ogre can do it too, and a good 4 will do this. But really, the 4 is supposed to already be here. The 5 joins them, like your Bane, just like you did as Bane. You came up, and I think you had a ward. You might not have. I can't. No, you didn't, because you said you wanted to ward but couldn't. Yes, right. But you knew what you were supposed to do. This CM's fucking clueless. She has no idea what she's supposed to do. And I would say that position 5 is probably one of the worst played positions, to be honest. I think a lot of games people don't even want to B5. They're just trying to get a roll queue and they got placed there. And they're like the CM. Like, what is the CM has literally done nothing for her team. She is in a lane that should have won hard, that Slark actually lost a little bit. Because she literally did not do anything. So we're kind of wrapping up, and I'm coming out of these games, and I've seen you play 4, and I've seen you play 5. And I think playing 4, you're still making pretty good decisions, but as you see, roaming is very high risk, and it's very difficult. It's hard. Can you roam? Yep. Yeah, and this meta has cost me MMR because I'm just like you. I don't want to sit in lane. That's why I play support. I like running around and fighting. That's fun. Sitting in lane, fighting over creeps is boring, and I'm not into it. And it makes me feel like the way my son sounds right now. So I'm with you. Roaming is fun. I want to roam. But I'm just telling you, you're going to lose more games playing that way. So you got to decide, would I rather win or would I rather just roam and have some fun but then lose? To me, I'd rather win because I have a lot of trouble enjoying losing. You know what I mean? I'm not very good at. Some people are great at it, and that's awesome for them. I hate losing so much. I hate it. You know what else I hate? I hate losing to people that I think suck, and then they talk like they're good. Dude, that's the worst feeling ever. So, just you got to weigh those outcomes and decide how you want to, what you want to risk. Okay. Okay, so in this position, you're playing from behind, right? So we're already dealing with suboptimal situation. So going to fight them, we talked about, really bad idea. You're basically going to lose this tower no matter what you do unless you bring 5 heroes. If you bring 5 heroes, you drive them away, and then they leave the farm, and then you have to walk the farm, and then they just go back and take it again. So you lost a bunch of TPs. Okay, bad option. So what do? So can you go and kill mid? If your support comes mid and you also come mid, can you 3-on-1 this guy to kill him while they push? You probably can, but he went top to push, so that's not an option. But you could pressure the tower. Can you kill this tower? Do you have like a Pugna at Leshrac? You don't. So you won't kill this tower, but you can do some chip damage. That's still something, but I think we agree you're not going to win the game because you did a little bit of chip damage while they pushed your tower. So next thing you can do, Ursa definitely does not want to be in this area because they're going to put up wards and they're going to take it over. So he should be farming his way over to this triangle, and this is going to be his new home because this is safe. While they play here, as they're supposed to from ahead, you play here, which you should do if you're ahead, but you should definitely do if you're behind because you can't play here even if you wanted to. You're going to lose. So you just accept this. The difference is when they're ahead, if they think it's better for them, they can choose to play their jungle and fight you here. But if you're behind, you don't even have that option. But it's still generally better for them to play here. Okay, so you go here. Ursa comes to take this triangle. So he plays here. Ember continues keeping mid alive, which now is riskier because they're up here too, right? So a ward here becomes very important. This one probably gets countered. So I like right on this little corner of the ramp underneath that impressive looking tree. I think that's a good spot because a sentry here won't catch it. But good play. What I do, I sentry like around the center of the screen, which catches here, and here. Yes, exactly. That's what I do. So that will catch this ward too. The fact of the matter is, keeping vision up here is really impossible. It's up to them failing to deward it. It's not up to you doing the right thing. So just understand, if you want to ward here, it's a risk, and it will probably work for a while, but eventually it's going to stop working. So I would never advise you to build a bad habit that you'll have to break later when people get better. I just think that's sabotaging yourself. So you kind of have to give this up. Ursa takes triangle. Ember can still play mid, but he's got to play over here. He can't, if he goes anywhere like here or even here, he's probably dead. So he's got to like drag this mid wave over here. You guys are playing in this area, which gives you the opportunity to help Ember if they dive, because you'll see them come, right? And you'll have the time to respond. So you'll have that option, or he can just get away. It's up to him, and it's up to you. Ember gets this camp. Ursa basically plays here, and then Ursa can join you to push this tower, and you guys push as a team to try to at least equalize what they're doing. So, a lot to talk about there, but what do I do? Exactly. But I would say that even at this point, you're already too late. So, well, I mean, they're almost done killing this tower, and you guys aren't even here. Like, you're not even in this lane yet, you know? So you're already behind. So really, we haven't gone back far enough. I think I can tell you the point. It's when Ursa dies, and that's going to be up here. Okay. Now you know he's getting ganked because Pudge is ulting, right? So that sound cue is how you know, oh shit, he's getting ganked. You don't even have to see these guys. You just know because he's ulting. Now, I will tell you that when your carry is getting ganked like this, late into the laning phase, this is like the hardest place for you to go fight for all the reasons we just spent like an hour and a half talking about. They have the vision. They have the levels here. If they want to TP, this is not a far distance for them. It's actually closer for them than it is for you because the lane's pushed. And that's another good point. The only reason he's getting killed here is because he's pushed up, right? If he's farming here, they can't really do this. But when he's up here, they can. So at this point, based on the fact that this is where they're strong, based on the fact that, frankly, your Ursa shouldn't be here anymore, this is not safe. He should be like farming here or farming here. Your Grimstroke is messed up to even let the lane get to this point. So he can't get there in time. You can't get there in time. This guy's already dead. So immediately you should be bottom. Because understand, how did they get here? They TP'd, right? Pudge was just laning here. This is lame. Ogre, this is his lane. How Monkey can get here? He TP'd. Yeah, he has no TP. So the guy on the map that you're most afraid of is here, which is the furthest place he can be from his hard carry, Crystal Maiden. his hard carry CM, for whatever reason, is here, and they TP'd, so they can't be here. Or if they... Yeah, go ahead. Grimstroke can stay here if he wants, but he will die. When I play a lot of Coddle, and when I play Keeper, sometimes I will make that decision, but I will never do it. First off, this sentry's here, so that's good. But I will also ward here too, so I can see like this area, and then I can play from in here with my TP off cooldown. That's crucial. I have to be able to TP out. And basically what happens is I can stall one, possibly two creep waves, and eventually they realize I'm doing it and they're going to dive me, and then I have to leave. Like, I either stay and die or I just leave. So he can delay this push, but he can't stop it. And you said when we respawn, we go. You are already too late. You're already too late. So as soon, again, the moment, right there, you have to know you're already TPing. You should already know I can't really TP to this safe lane. It's a trap. BSJ calls it the dead lane. It's true. Again, I don't mean to reiterate so much. It's just such a crucial point to take away. This is where they are strong. So you don't want to be here. You want to be where you are strong, which is typically going to be here. It could also be mid, but it's almost never your safe lane. That Bane game you played is the exception. That's not the rule. That's the exception. You stomped your safe lane. So that kind of changed it. This is how most games are going to look. So as soon as he goes here, this is the point where you go bottom. It's now. It's when they've committed top, because what's happened is they've actually gone too early. This play they're making is supposed to happen in a minute from now because it sets up the outpost and the bounty. Exactly. What they've done is they commit 3 heroes to kill your carry, which is good, but they sent their mid laner to do it. So now your Ember has space to farm, and he's going to push the mid. And in exchange, they can push top, but we talked about why this tower is much better than this tower, right? Much better to take a mid tier 1 than a offlane tier 1, because this opens up their whole jungle. So they make this play too early because there's no objective. So if instead of going here, you guys go bottom, or you could even go mid if you had pushing heroes, which you don't. But if you did, this is the best option. Since you don't, shutting down their carry, Crystal Maiden, is the next best option. So this is where you should be. And what that's going to do is it gives Ursa a lot of protection to play here because he's buried behind your whole team. Or if they leave top to contest you, which Monkey King can't because he TP'd, so he won't be there. But if they do that, then Ursa can come back to his lane for approximately, what is it, 105 seconds? What's the cooldown? 80 seconds. Wow, 105. Shucks. Oh, what a noob. Yeah, so then for approximately 80 seconds, when they TP, then Ursa can come back to his lane, and he can pressure this tower. So it's like a big game of cat and mouse, right? The stronger team is chasing the weaker team, and as the weaker team, you want to waste their time. But as a stronger team, you want to either chase them down and kill them and take an objective, or you don't waste your time chasing them because you, like, let's say they have an anti-mage and you're just running around trying to kill AM, but you can't get him because he's faster than everybody else. That's how you lose against AM, right? It's a diversion. You don't want to chase him around. So as a stronger team, rather than trying to chase you guys around where you play here because they're here and you don't want to be there, so you avoid them. So if they come to chase you, you just run away, and we talked about how that's a loss for them. So it's better for them to force this tower like they are. But when you come to fight them, you play into them. So instead, you push mid, you go bottom, you make the opposite play, you take here. That's what you should do. You shouldn't even be TPing. You should just already be here. Like, you should already be between these lanes. And we talked about why mid was not a good place to be. So, like 4 minutes ago, I think you being up here was good. I don't think that's good anymore because Pudge has level 6, which is a huge power spike for him. And now, especially with Monkey King here, you definitely don't want to be here. So 4 minutes ago, being here was good for you. At this point, you should be here. Slark is not 6. Nyx is 6. So Slark should not be allowed to touch his creeps. In the same way that Ursa dies for hitting creeps up here, Slark should die for hitting creeps in the almost identical place in his lane. Right? That's where you want to do. You want to mirror their play. But once you TP here, you're already kind of bad now. And then the death is like the cherry on top. Alright, so then at this point, again, they're too early. So if you don't come, their only option is to just walk away after TPing and getting 1 kill, which is whatever. It's almost like they didn't do anything, right? Because there's a big time investment and they're not farming. So it's kind of like it evens out. But once you TP here, and once they commit to push, then you've got nothing left to do. You know, you could have been here. They're too early for outposts, so their play really wasn't that good. But you made a very bad response to it, so their play turned out to look great. And they pushed this from full. This tower was full, so they pushed this whole tower. And you can kind of see, like, he can't defend it. His Pudge just bodies him out, so this is just wasted time. Ursa farming here is dangerous because they could ward here at any point, and then they kill him. So he should farm his way here. Mid pushes in, and you guys kill the Slark the same way they killed your Ursa. Make sense? It's so funny how hard it is to just give you a straight answer, this is what you do, because Dota is so complicated. But that's why it's an awesome game, because it is so complex. But yeah, that's the best I can say. You just want to mirror this. So We talked about the game. In my opinion, there's not much else to see here. This fight, again, very bad, but it worked. Okay, so how are we on time? All right. Yeah, we're a bit over. That's okay. So let's wrap it up with here, and let me just finish with what I think you should do since you won this fight. You shouldn't have taken, but you won it. So let's talk about that, and then any final questions. Then we'll wrap it up. So where was that fight? It was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's coming up. And my toddler's waking up, so this is perfect timing. All right. So you take this fight, you win. I think from here, Rosh would be amazing, but Ursa does not have a Morbid Mask, so that's not an option. I think you can't push mid because they'll respawn in TP. So this is one of those fights. Another reason why this fight sucks. You win this fight and look at your reward. Nothing. You don't get anything. You know, if you win this fight, you get this tower. If you win, I mean, even mid, you kind of still don't get the tower. But at least here, if they mass TP to stop your push, they mass TP to this far corner of the map, right? Which means you get everything else. But if they all TP mid, which is the only tower you can kind of push right now, then they just spread out evenly, and it's like no harm was done, right? So that's amazing. I didn't even think this. I did not set myself up to look smart. This just happened. You take this risky fight, you win the fight. I look at what you can do, nothing. You get nothing. You just get the fight. So, you know, that's all the more reason you should be playing down here. Here you have a clear objective. You already lost your tower. There's nothing here. You know, it's just too far to go. So, wow, great lesson. These were awesome replays you brought me. So, yeah, I think it's amazing that we could cover so much just from 2 games of, like, not only games that shaped out totally differently, but also reverse. So you almost see, like, in all cases what you should be doing. So I just think that worked out great. So, cool. Let's wrap it up. Any questions? Any parting thoughts? What do you think? Which is good. Like I said, I predict you will screw it up next time, and you'll be really pissed about it because you know better, and then you truly will not make these mistakes anymore. So, which is a great segue for me. When you feel like you have plateaued and you have gotten what we talked about down, that's going to be the point to come get another lesson. And you should reach out to me first, because sometimes they give me promo codes, so I may or may not have a discount for you. Otherwise, you know, if you buy like a 3-hour bundle, I think you get 10% or 15% or something. Yeah, right. I mean, if you're about to move to Cali, then yeah, that's not going to be an issue. But for me, it's important to me that you are getting maximum value for what you pay, right? That's how you come back. So it's good for me. It's good for you. So yeah, I would say that's where you go from here. Just work on these things. If you can get these first 10 to 15 minutes down and you consistently can deliver, you're going to start winning. Where are you now? Like 3.5K? 3.4. Okay. Let me tell you that in my games at 5K, people are still not doing this. And that includes me. I am still screwing this up occasionally. So if you can consistently do this, you're going to be up to 5K, I think, pretty casually. I really don't think it'll be that hard for you. I think you think the way you should be thinking. You ask thoughtful questions, which again tells me you're thinking about the important stuff. Your mechanics seem to be pretty good. You missed a couple rolls, but I think that by being in a better position, you will have easier rolls, and you'll be hitting more even though you're the same player, just based on where you're coming from and the angle you're coming in at and where they're running to. Well, the rolls are good. the rolls are good when he is up here fighting your Ember because he's melee, and you walk. Yeah, and you walk to like where this range creep and catapult are. You almost can't miss, like, or he runs a stupid way and you just don't roll. Like, it's like with Pudge. Sometimes the best hook is you just don't hook and you just keep running at them. It's the same concept. Sometimes the best roll is that you could roll at any time and they have to respect that. So then they try to juke and you just kill them. And you like literally never roll at all. You know, like sometimes that's the way to go. So I don't remember what brought us into that, but oh yeah. So I hope that you leave this with confidence because I think you are playing very well. Just a small little tweaks. Remember where you're supposed to play in these early parts of the game. Remember how to close out games. How do you go high ground? You don't. You know, you just don't go high ground. When it's 5-on-5 and you have a 20k lead, just don't go up the hill. That's how you lose, right? Like they're getting fucked. Yeah. Wait for the 30k lead. Maybe then you're ready. And if not, eventually they have to leave the base. Then you kill them. Then you end the game. So convert these wins with a big lead. Don't let any lane go really badly like this game where you're playing from far behind and you'll be winning every game you're supposed to win. You won't have any games where you're getting stomped, and then you just have to convert about half of the even games, and suddenly you're gaining MMR. Because you win when you're supposed to, you're dodging games where you're just getting shit stomped, and the rest of the games are anybody's game, then you're going to gain MMR, right? It's inevitable. So put yourself in those strong positions. Over time, you will win. Yeah. Nils, it's been a pleasure. Awesome lesson. I will upload the second VOD as well. So it's going to be part 2. Yeah, I don't know if I'll make it into one video or keep them separate. Do you have a preference? I think I'll make it one video. I think it makes more sense to make it just one big video. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But yeah, hey, it's been a pleasure. Have a good day, and I've got some angry kids to play with. All right, truce.